is your American dream?
My American dream would be to continue working hard for what is my next career, my next dream. My next step would be to be on camera and work for a big sport television broadcasting company. That would be a dream of mine.
For me, the American dream is the freedom to define that goal for yourself and for your family, and the freedom to obtain that goal.
My American dream is to be a role model for both my kids and the world, to make culture a really big part of their life and my life, to be deeply rooted and involved in community has always been a big one for my family.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. It's showtime! Welcome, everybody. It's Tuesday Tea. It's Brad Show Live. I'm joined, as always, by Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
We are here.
And somewhere out in the internet world, somewhere in Miami, Florida, Vanessa Nesquik Contreras. How are you?
I'm doing great.
I never know what to call it. Is it out in the clouds? Is it out in the Ethernet? What is the Ethernet? I don't even know.
Isn't Ethernet like when you plug
something in? Yeah, I know you're not using the right words.
Ethernet is valid.
Somewhere in our video screens in front of us is Vanessa Nesquik Contreras. She just pops up.
Or you could say coming in from Miami.
Coming in from Miami strong, right?
Yeah,
How's that?
There you go.
Coming in strong and hot, right?
There you go. That right there.
That might work.
Right.
There you go. We should have this discussion before we go on the air.
But we usually have our production meetings during the show.
Right. All right, how's everybody doing today?
Everybody's fine. I'm great.
Yeah?
Yes. Yeah.
Vanessa, great?
Doing great. Yeah.
Great.
Great.
Like, is it like a real great or like just kind of great?
Oh no, I'm always great.
Like a real great. Like, this is great. Great day. Great
I've
day.
been waiting for this
all
all day.
Let's see if everybody in the Brad squad is as great as Vanessa and Yo-Yo.
Let's see.
Elizabeth Francis, squad up. How are you? Jessica Leamy, Joelle Reed, squad up. Denise Johnson Green, Sisha Mitchell, squad up. Latoya, His Forever Peterson, Shetty Mandori, Elisa Enot's popping in. Elizabeth Francis, I don't know, I think I said that. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, Dionne Reed, squad up. Naked Wire. Really, Naked Wire is really his. Is that a he? I don't know if it's Naked Wire's wearing a mask. I'm not sure if it's a he or she in the picture, but it's really Naked Wire's favorite day is Hump Day, I believe, right?
I'm sure.
I am sure. Dionne Reed, squad up. How are you? Look who's in the comments. Jeff Bozzi-Bozzi.
Hey.
Right, an old friend of ours, Jeff Bozzi-Bozzi.
Yeah.
Squad up. How are you? Terry Schlosser from Ohio. Ohio is in the house, representing here on Brad Show Live. Shabu Basti, Ghana, representing in the house. Squad up, how are you? Elizabeth Francis, Jessica Leamy, Joelle Reed, Jamaica, representing in the house.
I had asked a question. I asked all the squaddies to let me know what country they were repping, so that's why they're throwing in all their
I'm wondering
countries.
why all of a sudden this is happening now. I see, very good. Elizabeth Francis, also Jamaica in the house. How are you? And why do I feel like we're going to have a lot of Jamaicans? I don't know, right?
I saw one from Ghana.
Yes.
I saw one from Ghana.
And Sheer Strachan. Squad up, Uncle Brad and your team. So nice to have you guys back. Dawn Harriet, squad up. How are you? Carol Anderson, the Tiger loves Yo-Yo's brown but colorful shirt.
Thank you.
And
Guyana.
And Darsh Singh, repping Guyana.
Yeah.
Repping Guyana. Dionne Reed, Jamaica, jam down. Right. Dawn Harriet, Jamaica straight.
Zeta, Nigeria. Shout out to Nigeria. I know that flag.
Juliet Morris, also Jamaica.
Trina from Jamaica. Well, okay.
Sam Delight. Jamaica.
Abiodun, Nigeria.
All right, Nigeria's popping in there. I know,
Trinidad,
I know we have a lot of Africans watching too.
We do.
We do. All right, Orain Sewell, all the way. Yolanda Steele. Everybody's going to tell us where they're from now.
Well,
we can go on forever. Let's see what's going on YouTube. You opened up Pandora's box.
Sierra
there.
Leone.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that in a while. No
It's
lie.
open on YouTube as well. Open on YouTube. You'll see it.
Let's see. Carol, the Top Cat Tigress, Squad Up, Denise Johnson, Jessica Leamy, Ariana Broderick, with a question, I believe. Want to do a pre-schmooze question? Why
Sure.
not? Hi, Brad. Continued from yesterday regarding the RFE and the DNA from my father who passed. Is my wife who is the one sponsoring me. The RFE states if I have a late registration and I should prove who my parents are. Well, if your wife is filing for you, I'm not sure why you need to prove who your parents are. You would then just say, here's my birth certificate. I guess they want to prove who you are. You have a late registered birth certificate. That's probably what it is. So I would need to see exactly what that RFE shows, because probably they're not asking for proof of who your parents are. They're asking for proof that you are who you are. David Berselli, Squad Up. Marissa, hello. Juliet E. What is an N36 form mean? An N36 form? Jeez, I got to remember N36.
You about to
That's
go
usually,
in
yeah, it's
like
usually.
that?
I believe an N36 is some sort of RFE from the Immigration Service.
Is it a request for a
Request for
hearing
more-
on
request-
decision and naturalization?
Something maybe like some request for something. Alexa Valaterra saying hi from California, waiting for immigration reform. We have a lot to talk about immigration reform today, Vanessa
Yes.
and Yo-Yo. I don't know if you've been following the news on immigration reform today. Mimi Bells. Is that Italy? What is that? What is that flag? The green, white, and red.
Where do you?
Is that Italy? That is Italy,
I
right?
don't see it. Yeah, but
Yes, Mimi Bells from Italy. Just need a good life for myself and my family. All right, Italy being represented here as well.
Yeah.
And Dominica, COD 500, right? Squad Up, Pop-Up Squad, Miloslav Minkov. Squad
Nice.
Up to you as well. All right, Jonathan and Vanessa, take it away while I stretch and get ready for some schmoozing.
Absolutely. All right, squad. So we see that we are all over the world. We are tuning in from all over the world, but let's push this out a little bit more. Everybody that's watching right now, I need you guys to share this to every and anybody. All you have to do is press that little share button, because we're about to start schmoozing and talking immigration news, including the announcement that the Democrats have made a pathway to citizenship for millions of people, part of their budget resolution package.
And it's Tuesday, Squad, so we'll be sipping Tuesday tea with Brad, chatting, among other things, about which celebrities are proudly stating whether they do or don't bathe regularly.
Ew. That's gross, man.
I already
That'll be
know
some
this story, and this story, if I could capitalize trifling, it's a capital TRIFFLIN. It is very trifling.
I sometimes walk by people on the street and they smell, and I just want to like either slow down or speed up.
It's the worst at the gym.
It's the worst.
No, at the gym.
Right, but
I move.
We'll talk about it later, and then after that, after we have that smelly story, we'll be answering your immigration questions both by calling 1-800-529-5465, internationally 1-212-227-8933. Our lines I see are almost already locked. We only have a few slots left. If you want to call and ask your immigration question, now would be the time to do it. And after we get through our schmooze and our immigration questions, we're going to do some social media check-in. So if you don't get your immigration questions answered on air, you can always leave your comment, your concern, your issue, your question, and our eagle-eyed co-hosts, Jonathan and Vanessa, hopefully will find your question and ask it of me. And then later, we're going to hear the second half of my discussion with Jason Rochester, Cecilia Gonzalez, and their son Ashton. Cecilia was undocumented and self-deported to Mexico in 2018. to come back to the United States with inspection, not realizing she was going to face a bar to re-entry. We're going to hear how the family is working to bring Cecilia back to the United States with the support of American Families United, an organization that works to keep U.S. citizens and their undocumented spouses together. And with that, you guys ready for some schmoozing?
Let's do it.
So I don't know what I don't know what you were pointing at. Yeah.
Okay, Sam. Are we going to talk about the 11 million undocumented included?
We
are going
to talk about it.
He's really going crazy in the comments, saying he's super scared and he really needs to know about everything. Like he's going in on the comments. So I'm just happy that we're going to be.
Who is this?
Wissam
Right. Prospective status is included. He wants to know. All right, let's talk about it.
Okay, awesome.
All right, 24 hours ago, if you asked me, hey, Uncle Brad, what do you think's going to happen? Because we've talked about it every day.
We have.
With immigration reform. And I said, Joe Biden, the Democrats, all talk. We're going to be lucky if the DREAM Act passes. I always said I believe the DREAM Act is going to pass. Mm-hmm. I thought maybe farm workers, maybe small chance of essential workers. Other than that, I said we're out of luck. Mm-hmm. Now, today, two things happened. The infrastructure bill passed. That was a bipartisan bill by both the Republicans and Democrats, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes, what's in it. But that passed. And now it's for Congress to pass a budget. To pass a budget, they don't need the 60 senators. We've talked about this month after month after month. You know, you need 60 senators to pass anything in a Congress, except for a budget. A budget for the United States, which has to go into effect on October 1st. The government runs October to October. The budget can be passed with 50 votes and Vice President Kamala Harris with the 51st vote. So one of the things that the Democrats were talking about, but I thought it was going to be all talk and no action, was that they were going to do what's called a budget reconciliation, where all 50 Democrats in the Senate are going to get together and pass a package for the budget. Now, if they want to add any goodies into this reconciliation, like immigration reform, or like environmental reform, we're talking about immigration right now, though, it has to be done in a way in which money is being spent or money is being raised, because it has to be part of a budget. It just can't be a standalone bill.
Right.
And I had believed, based on what I was reading and what I was listening to, was that in the reconciliation package, they were going to do something for the Dreamers. And then it was going to end there, because they did not have the votes, the Democratic votes, both moderate and progressives, to pass the reconciliation with a full immigration package. Lo and behold, to my surprise and my extreme beyond extreme happiness, I was wrong. I woke up this morning to news articles that they have passed or will shortly be passing a budget resolution in the Senate. It is a blueprint. It is not specifics. So when you're asking me who's going to be included, who is not going to be included, we don't know the answer yet. This is what we know. Listen very, very carefully. They are going to pass a budget reconciliation. Apparently, they have all 50 Democratic senators on board for this budget reconciliation. The budget is going to increase by $3.5 trillion. There is going to be a lot of things for a lot of people. If you are somebody who is a high earner, your taxes will go up. Unfortunately, Yo-Yo, my taxes are going to go up.
Oh.
I'm happy to pay those taxes because we're going to be doing a lot of good for a lot of people. Corporations' taxes are going to go up. People's who are in the stock market and earn capital gains, their taxes are going to go up as well. Now, what is in it for immigration? they are going to budget $107 billion to putting together a package for a pathway to green cards for millions and millions and millions and millions of people.
Wow.
10 million, 11 million, whatever they estimate, it's going to be double or triple.
Wow.
Because they have underestimated the undocumented population in the United States for 30 years.
Right.
But whatever it is, apparently they are going to budget $107 billion to a pathway for undocumented immigrants. Who is in that pathway? Who will be included? Who won't be? We don't know the answers to that yet. When will we know the answers? On or around September 15th. Why? Because that's when Chuck Schumer said he wants to have a final vote on the budget reconciliation. The way it works is they do a vote now where they just give an overall arching $3.5 trillion. Now the fine print happens. They got to do the fine print. Where does this $107 billion go to? How is it being spent? That is going to be negotiated over the next 30 days. It has to not only be negotiated with the senators and the Democratic senators. This is a Democratic Senate and Democratic House of Representatives negotiation. This has nothing to do with Republicans. This has nothing to do with Donald Trump, nothing to do with Mitch McConnell, nothing to do with anything pumpkin-oriented. This is a Democratic negotiation, a negotiation within the Democratic Party. Because what they're going to do is they are going to be able to pass this budget reconciliation with 50 Democratic senators and Kamala Harris voting for the 51st vote. And then this, whatever package passes the Senate, has to pass verbatim, word for word, in the House of Representatives. Can't change. They only have 4 Democratic votes in the positive in the House of Representatives, meaning that only 4 Democrats, House of Representatives, can vote against the budget resolution and still be able to pass the entire budget reconciliation. I said resolution, reconciliation. So this is going to be a negotiation amongst Democrats in the Democratic Party. So who do you got? You got progressives who want to legalize everybody. You have moderates who have to be very careful about how they do immigration reform, because they have to go back to their constituents and they want to make sure that they get voted in again. They don't want to lose their election in 2 years or 4 years or 6 years. So part of this is absolutely going to be, you know, a negotiation between everybody gets a green card, some people get a green card, most people get a green card. How many hurdles do we have to make people jump through? We don't want to make it too easy because the moderates have to show that they were a little tough on immigration. They have to put a lot of money into border security to show they're stopping people at the border. It's going to be a huge negotiation. Eventually, who is included in this tent of people who are going to get an amnesty, who are not? But as of today, it is a new ball game because the budget reconciliation is going to pass with $107 billion dedicated to an amnesty program. What's in the amnesty program? We don't know. We're going to find out very soon, on or around September 15th. I'm sure over time, over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks, we'll see in the news what's happening. I can take guesses on what it's going to be. I can take guesses. Certainly going to be DREAM Act. You know, children who came here under the age of of 18 or 16 years old, whatever age they use, who graduated high school here. They're going to be included. I assume farm workers, we are going to be included. If you work on a farm, you will probably get the amnesty. Essential workers, maybe. People who've just been here undocumented, maybe. Parents of dreamers, most likely. So if you have a child here, most likely, if they're included in the DREAM Act, I would find it hard to believe that they would give children of dreamers green cards and leave their parents out. Right. But so I can imagine what it would be. I'm hoping it's going to be a blanket amnesty for everybody.
That would be awesome.
That would be awesome. We'll see what happens. But it's a new ball game. If you asked me 24 hours ago, I was even said, I said, if I had to make a bet, no.
I remember.
I would lose.
Yeah.
I would have lost.
Optimism.
Yes. So it's $107 billion. There's a deadline of September 15th. We don't know who's going to be in and who's going to be out. All we know is one word. We have one sentence. It's $107 billion, and it's going to provide money for a pathway to millions and millions and millions of immigrant workers and their families.
There we go.
That's all we know so far. Okay? They're saying maybe 10 million, maybe more. We will find out the answers to that.
Great news.
Great news. Meanwhile, the bipartisan infrastructure bill advanced in the Senate, and it has passed. It now has to go to the House of Representatives to pass as well. It's expected to pass the House. In total, there's going to be $550 billion in new federal investments in America's infrastructure over the next 5 years. The deal calls for investing $110 billion in roads, bridges, infrastructure projects, bridge repair, $17.5 billion for major projects that would have been too large or complex for traditional funding, $1 billion to reconnect communities in black neighborhoods that were divided by highways and other infrastructures. I think that's, they built highways through for years. For, it was very racist the way that they built highways. They always built them through low-income black minority neighborhoods. They would split neighborhoods straight in the middle.
Wow.
Black neighborhoods. You have people living on one side and the other side of a highway, and you can't cross. They're going to eliminate a lot of these highways. I can't say all of them, and they're going to make pathways to reconnect neighborhoods, which is really, really nice. $39 billion to modernize public transit. $66 billion to modernize freight rails, $17 billion to modernize United States ports, $25 billion to modernize U.S. airports, $7.5 billion to purchasing low-emission buses and ferries, $7.5 billion to building a nationwide network of plug-in electric vehicle chargers.
Wow.
So the idea being that in 10 years, a majority of the automobiles driven in the United States are now going to be electric.
Yeah,
they are going to give huge tax credits to people to buy electric cars starting in 2022. They are going to give huge tax incentives to the car companies to build electric cars. And they are going to finally build electric charging stations around the entire United States of America, which is the real reason why people haven't been buying electric cars is, what happens when I run out of electricity? Where the hell am I going to charge my car? There's no electric gas station. Well, now there's going to be electric gas stations everywhere.
They've already started that in my neighborhood back in California. When I went last week for our vacation, we just got the solar panels on the roof, and literally the entire neighborhood is starting to go solar, and everybody is starting to buy electric cars. So now my family is like, well, we want an electric car, and they'll give you the charger for
but it goes into your garage.
So this right here makes sense.
But what about me? I live in an apartment, or you live in an apartment. You can't, where are you going to charge your car?
Right. So I'm saying this makes sense. This is going to make sure that everybody else will.
Of course, right. If you don't own a home, you can't charge your car.
Right.
And then what happens if you're on the road and you forget to charge your car? What are you seeing down in Miami next week? You seeing any changes yet?
I'm not seeing it too often, but in certain areas where, there's more luxury vehicle potential,
Right.
you see stations the same way that it is in New York, but I know it's up
Yeah,
and coming.
it's a luxury vehicle market right now, electric vehicles, but now it's going to be a mass market because the government is putting in the infrastructure. They're putting $20 billion to making flood protection, low-lying areas. They're putting $21 billion to clean up the Brownsfield sites, which is full of toxic materials. And the House of Representatives is likely to take up this bill and pass it finally this fall.
Nice. It's a lot of money.
A lot of money. A lot of news going on today, by the way.
Yeah.
Governor Cuomo, he resigned.
A lot
Woke
of
up.
money in
Yeah.
this schmooze. There's been a lot of money moving in this schmooze.
Yes, a lot of money. There's going to be $3.5 trillion budget increase, money mostly directed to middle class, poor, and minority families, and they just passed a $1 trillion infrastructure bill. If you own a construction company or you're in the construction business,
Yeah.
you're going to have a job for the next 10 years.
Right.
Okay? I mean, there's going to be so much construction going on, your head's going to spin.
Right.
All right? I mean, talking about immigrants who work in the construction field, there's going to be a shortage of construction workers with everything that the United States is now about to pass in the infrastructure. Add to that all of the private developments that are happening all over the United States as well. Governor Cuomo, he resigned today.
Woke up with this news.
Yes.
I didn't see this.
Yeah, he resigned today after a report issued in early August, 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, by New York Attorney General Letitia James found he violated state and federal sexual harassment laws. He was trying to stay in office, hoping to hopefully that the winds would blow out of this situation. People would forget it, but the drumbeat to have him resign got louder and louder every day. Finally, he resigned today. Letitia James's report says that Governor Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, created a hostile work environment, and retaliated against at least one former employee. Now, Cuomo has repeatedly denied these allegations, but today he said maybe he was too familiar with people and apologized to the woman he said he truly offended. He said he takes full responsibility for his actions. Maybe he had been too familiar with people. Cuomo said his sense of humor can be insensitive and off-putting, and acknowledged that he hugs and kisses people casually, both men and women. And he didn't realize, and I'm quoting him, the extent to which the line has been redrawn. There are generational cultural shifts that he just didn't fully appreciate, and he should have no excuses. And if I had a bullshit button, I would be pressing it right now, because there is no way you can tell me, as the governor of the state of New York, that you did not fully appreciate that you can't stick your hand up somebody's shirt.
But that's not what he did.
Yes, he did.
Is that what they said he did?
One woman said yes, that he can't pat somebody on the back who didn't ask for it in the workplace. He can't randomly go kiss people in the workplace. He can't talk about sex with women in the workplace. He's the governor of New York. And quite frankly, all of this, whenever you're talking about sexual harassment, whenever you're talking about any sort of rape or misogyny culture, it's always somebody having power over somebody else.
Absolutely.
Somebody who has a level of power over someone who has no power. And when you are the governor of the state of New York, and you are a 3-term governor, you are a very powerful man, and he used his power over women who did not have as much power. Unfortunately, this happened. Fortunately, enough women banded together to take him down.
Yeah.
You have one woman or 2 women, it goes under the table.
Right.
But when you have 10, 12, 15, however it was, then, it can't be ignored. Now, Albany County Sheriff Craig Apple said he's investigating a criminal complaint filed by Brittany Comissio, an executive assistant who says Cuomo groped her breasts and buttocks during encounters at the executive mansion. I'm sorry, but I don't know when this cultural shift happened that you can't grab somebody by the butt in the workplace. But as far as since the day I was born, that cultural shift happened already. You could, in my 52 years, there was never a time when you can do that.
Nah, it's not okay.
What do you think, Vanessa?
Oh, I think this is completely inappropriate. I never understand how we hear these stories all the time. Governors, mayors, like politicians, just in general, like, just do your job and keep your hands to yourself. I just don't understand why we can't just do our jobs and keep our hands to ourselves. Like, we have to be professionals. And you're loud. Like, you're in the news every day, and you're going to position yourself to provoke your credibility. Like, no, out of control.
And I'm going to tell you something. It is not, I mean, maybe it's a sexual thing, but it's not my opinion that it's a sexual thing. There's a lot of women who found Governor Cuomo attractive, especially during
Absolutely.
you know, the pandemic. There's
he
a lot of women.
America's governor.
Yeah, there was a lot of women, you know, who thought he was like sexy and wanted to date him. So I don't think Governor Cuomo is a guy who lacked
at all
finding a mate.
Right.
I think this is a situation where I'm a powerful man. There's somebody in front of me. She's an attractive woman. I'm going to put my hands on her because I can. Because I have power.
Yeah.
All right, it had nothing to do with anything other than that, and it's always in those situations. Go back to the pumpkin, you know, grab her by the, you know what, because he was a powerful man, and you know he would walk into the Miss Universe or Miss America pageant, the pumpkin, into the dressing room while the models were undressing.
That's wild.
He didn't care.
He is wild.
And what are these models going to do? They're going to say, "Get out." Who are they going to complain to?
Right.
They all want to win Miss Universe or Miss America. So they have to accept that humiliation. That he couldn't just walk in and say or do what he wants. Because he has power. All of this is about exerting power over you. And there's situations too where there's, you know, I've seen women executives in the reverse sexually harass men who were under them.
Yeah.
You've seen those situations in the news too, not as often, obviously.
Right.
But it's always ends up, it's a thing of power. It's not, Governor Cuomo could date anybody he wanted. He didn't need to grope anybody. But he did so because he had power over them. Over his employees, over his appointees. And that's, you know, and when you do that, you don't deserve to be governor anymore.
I agree. Jeff Bozzi said he was all about killing grannies and spanking fannies.
I don't know. But by the way, you know, he's the second New York governor to resign in the last 15 years. You think he would have learned something. Remember Elliot Spitzer?
Right.
For the sex worker.
He was with worker number 9. Right? He had frequented a high-end escort service. And apparently, I just remember it was escort number 9 that he liked. It was always in the newspaper, escort number 9.
Golly, guys.
Right, and Jill said the escort, just to embarrass Governor Elliott, the former Governor Spitzer right now, always, you know, did his thing with the escort with his black socks on. Oh. Isn't that strange?
I mean, everybody has their kinks.
Isn't that strange?
Yeah. That also sounds like it would ramble into Hump Day news.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Governor Cuomo, he is going to officially resign from office in 14 days to avoid his ultimate impeachment. Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul, if I'm pronouncing her name right, she is going to be the first woman governor in the state of New York. She is the lieutenant governor. And I guess she is going to perhaps be running for re-election shortly because the New York governor's race is coming up.
Right.
She is a extraordinarily conservative moderate Democrat. In prior races, she was even pro-gun.
Oh.
So I don't know how well she's going to do in a very progressive New York State Democratic Party. But congratulations to her to be the first woman to serve as New York governor.
Okay, ladies in politics, I see y'all stepping up. Okay. Fill up those seats.
And in coronavirus news, U.S. cases are surging again. Hospitals are filling up. The CDC says the Delta variant accounts for 93% of COVID cases. Data published Friday by the Florida Department of Health showed the state reported a record 134,506 new COVID cases over the past week, 19,215 cases per day. The previous record was 125,000. On Friday, Louisiana reported a record 2,421 people hospitalized for COVID. Arkansas reported a record low of 25 ICU beds available across the state. Pediatric hospitals are filling up too. According to the American Academy of Pediatrics, 72,000 new child COVID cases reported in the previous week. The definition of a child varies by state, but generally includes those up to 17 or 18. We can go on and on and on, but COVID is raging again. And if you are not vaccinated, you are most likely to be the one, if you catch COVID, to be hospitalized. If you are vaccinated, your odds of being hospitalized after contracting COVID is 0.01%. 99.99% you will not have to be hospitalized if you're vaccinated. That doesn't mean that if you're vaccinated you won't get it. It just means you won't get it too bad.
Okay.
You ready for some tea?
Let's
do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do the tea. I'm a little thirsty anyway after so much talking.
That was a lot of
That was a lot of talking. But of course, the tea man is a little late.
Was he pumping iron?
I don't know what he was doing. I think he was pumping tea bags, maybe. You know, what took so long, Jeremy?
Sorry, I don't mean to lie.
Yes.
But I was taking my time.
All right. Jeremy's bringing in some tea for us. Thank you very much. I wonder what we have today, Jeremy. Is there anything new in there? Is there a tea menu that I could order, pre-order, or no?
Just looking at the color,
I just dropped my spoon, but it's okay.
It's okay.
What is
raspberry.
It's raspberry today.
Raspberry.
All right, cheers. Let's
Cheers.
taste our raspberry tea. Oh, this is very, very good, Jeremy.
This is very good.
This is
Great
excellent tea. Raspberry.
Enjoy.
Isn't this nice? Isn't this nice? Isn't this nice to have tea just in the middle of a show?
Yes, absolutely.
I think so. You're really missing out on the tea party, Vanessa. You have some tea?
Yes, I've decided on some iced tea today.
Oh, very nice. So let's talk some tea.
All right.
All right, you want to talk some tea?
Let's do it.
Not showering.
All right. So this is trifling.
Okay.
This is very, very trifling. Just as paid human space flights are about to begin, Business Insider has reported that a Canadian technology startup is going to be partnering with Elon Musk's SpaceX to make space advertisements a thing in the future. Samuel Reed, the CEO and co-founder of Geometric Energy Corporation, told the outlet the company is working to create a satellite called CubeSat, and what it is going to do is it is going to light up the night sky with advertisements.
Oh, gosh.
That is the most trifling thing I have ever heard in my entire life. You go outside, you would like to take a look at the beautiful night sky.
Oh,
you would like to see the stars, the moon, whatever you want to look at in the night sky. Nope, go buy a Toyota.
That's horrible.
Go buy a Tesla. Is that awful?
That reminds me of like these movies and shows that I've been watching, like where it's like a whole dome outside of, or a dome on top of like where you're living, like a whole county, and it's just like they could throw any kind of advertisement in the sky. Like we're turning into a whole like movie.
It's
You know what
awful.
I mean? Like, it's horrible.
Yes. Now, the collaboration is not going to feature classic advertising billboard, but you're going to basically see pixels being displayed around a satellite, but it's going to basically light up the whole sky as if it's one huge billboard.
You know
Somebody's got to put a stop to this, Vanessa.
Look, people should get together and put out a petition, or like just get together and say any advertisement that you see in the sky, nobody goes and buys.
And by the way,
So it's almost like suicide.
and by the way, this is not like in 10 years from now. They're predicting this for mid-2022.
Oh my gosh.
Like
Nobody
in less
buy
than a
it.
year.
Nobody
It's a
buy
boycott.
anything that's advertised in the sky.
Boycotting sky
Yeah,
ads.
then nobody will want to put their stuff up
Why
there.
don't we just make a law that says you can't do it?
No.
You know what? Good
That-
thing we know some lawyers.
Yeah. It's just very trifling.
Yeah. How can they get away with that?
I don't know. I read that. I was like, you know what? After I start seeing, advertisements in the sky, there's nowhere further down low that society can go.
Right.
I give up on society once we start seeing advertisements for Tesla in the sky. You give up on society, or will you continue to fight for society? I say I give up now, but I'll fight. But
No,
I
we
want
can't
you to
give
know,
up.
I
We
read
can't-
that. I'm like, come on, man.
Yeah.
That's a come on, man. You
Yeah.
got to be kidding me.
Like we're living in the Jetsons.
Meanwhile,
Right.
one of our favorite entertainers, Rihanna,
That's my boo.
is now a billionaire.
That is my
Yes.
baby.
Actually, a billionaire.
A
I'm obsessed
billionaire, not millionaire, not multi-billionaire. We knew she was a billionaire, but she is now a billionaire. And not only that, according to Forbes, she has become the wealthiest female musician in the world, and only
Wow.
second to Oprah as the richest female entertainer.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yes.
Her story. She had just posted actually today. She said, "I woke." She's in bed with like caviar, just looking all beautiful. She's like, "Oh, I woke up after my perfume, Fenty perfume,
Yeah.
sold out in just like a day." So
By the way, she's worth 1.7 billion. 1.4 billion of it is from Fenty,
yeah.
from her product.
And this is exactly why all her fans, including myself, that have been asking her for music for the past couple years, she was like, listen, I'm over here making moves, money moves.
And
She-
she's getting my coins. I can confirm. I love Fenty products. She's
Wow.
got me. Like,
you helped her become a billionaire. That I don't mind. Helping her become a billionaire.
I love it.
Yeah.
Her, I love.
And by the way, they say the Fenty beauty line is worth $2.8 billion. So she owns half of it, which is why she's worth $1.4 billion. It's owned by Louis Vuitton, Vanessa, as I'm sure you know, and you know who just surpassed Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the world.
Ooh.
The head of Louis Vuitton.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, he just surpassed Jeff Bezos. I forgot his name, but he just surpassed Jeff Bezos as the richest man in the world.
That's awesome.
Yeah, French guy.
There you go.
Meanwhile, is she having an album come out, or is she now just Fenty?
She's gonna come out with something, within whenever she feels like it, and we're gonna accept it whenever she blesses us
Yeah,
with it.
it's been 5 years she hasn't.
Since Auntie.
Yeah, 5 years she has not released an album. But Rihanna just recently told her Twitter followers to prepare for Fenty perfume, so her fans could look forward to that.
Yeah, that's what she posted today, and on her IG she posted, "I woke up." I guess it just released, and she said, "I woke up to it being sold out in just a couple hours."
I just was told that
Sheesh.
Bernard Arnault only surpassed Jeff Bezos briefly, and recently Jeff Bezos took him back. So
It's probably from my last.
So he's the number
purchase.
2 richest man in the world, I guess. And what do you think of this, Yo-Yo?
Is it gonna be trifling?
No.
Oh, okay.
All right, it's just as a manly thing.
Okay.
British diver Tom Daley. All right, he was in the Olympics. Did you hear about this?
Yes.
Captured fans' hearts during the Tokyo Olympics as photos of him knitting poolside and in the stands while watching other events surfaced across social media. At first, the 4-time Olympian knitted a sleeve for his gold medal. On one side, there's a Union Jack, and on the other, there's a Japanese flag. Then the 27-year-old posted a photo of his brand new cardigan. And then Daly shared on Instagram, when I go to Tokyo, I want to make something that would remind me of the Olympics to look back in the future. He said he learned to knit and crochet before the Summer Games. As his knitting page at Made with Love by Tom Daly gained momentum, it amassed over 1.2 million followers. Daly decided to use his skills to raise awareness. He created a fundraiser for UK-based the Brain Tumor Charity in memory of his father. At 11 a.m. on August 7th, his post raised over $28,000. One woman, Cariona Stewart, wrote an opinion piece for the Scotland Herald saying the reaction to Tom's Daly's Olympic knitting is sexist. She wrote that knitting still has a reputation of a pastime done by a woman and is now only suddenly interesting and reinvigorated because a man is doing it. She said, we went through this in 2013 when Ryan Gosling mentioned that he liked to knit, and everyone went crazy. At the time, Gosling told GQ magazine his perfect day would be knitting from morning till evening. Now, Stewart goes on to say that it's not newsworthy that a man likes to knit, and that it should be unremarkable for a man to knit, sew, or crochet. She says being interested in the subject because a man's doing it, but we think it's a woman's work, is just reinforcing stale gender stereotypes. What do you think?
I mean, like, how about it's just, interesting that the fact that somebody who's in the Olympics is actually knitting while the, people are by the poolside. I mean, it doesn't always have to be, 1 + 1 = 2. Like, it's not just because he's a man knitting. I think it's the fact that he's in the Olympics. The Olympics is in the news right now, and he's knitting while, while he's right by the poolside when he's about to go and do his whatever he does. I don't think it's that
therapeutic
serious.
for a prep.
Right.
Yeah,
in history, there's nobody that has ever knitted at the Olympics, so maybe that's why it's news. Okay.
What do you think, Vanessa?
I agree with Yo-Yo.
You agree with Yo-Yo.
Why do we have to turn it into a whole double to knit?
I personally think it's newsworthy because men generally are not considered knitters.
Right.
You don't see men crocheting a lot. So it's unusual to see. And I think it's newsworthy in the sense that if there is a stereotype that it's a woman's, thing to knit and not a man's thing, that here men are knitting. I think he's actually breaking the stereotype rather than reinforcing a stereotype.
And the fact that he's raising money for charity as well, newsworthy.
So I think it's the opposite, personally.
Yeah. I think she's just mad.
Yeah. And lastly, we got this is smelly. Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis. This is disgusting, Vanessa.
This is disgusting.
They were guests on Dak Shepard's Armchair Expert, and they shared their family bathing habits, which basically they said if they don't see dirt, they don't bathe themselves or they don't bathe their children.
I think that's just wrong. It's wrong.
Shepard steered them into this topic, and it turns out Kristen Bell's husband has a more relaxed stance on bathing as well. He told his fellow Hollywood power couple that he'd been trying to convince his co-host Monica Padman that she doesn't need to scrub her entire body. What is this? Who doesn't need to clean themselves? What kind of stupidity is this? That's just being a dirty person. And just because you're a celebrity doesn't mean you get to be a dirty person.
I don't think it's because they're a celebrity. I think that's just the type of person they are.
What the heck?
Disgusting.
What the heck?
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Y'all know, if y'all know me, y'all know I love a good smell. I like a good perfume, cologne, whatever, even smelly lotion. Like, I am cleaning every crevice of my body every day. And don't let it be humid. I'm a shower about 3 times a day.
I don't know. Mila says that she takes a more lax approach to showering because she didn't grow up with hot water in the former Soviet Ukraine. BS.
BS. You grew up with it as a celebrity.
Come on, BS. She moved to the United States in 1991.
Yeah.
Come on. All right, and now,
right.
but you know what? I they say, what is the purpose? Do you know what the purpose of not showering is? Is it because you're gonna ruin your skin or something? You lose essential oils. That's what the TriCaster guy's telling me. Did you ever hear of?
I've heard
of lotion? Right, and not smelling.
I've heard of a lot of people that like don't like to use chemicals on their body. So but there's, natural soap that you can use. Okay, guys, let's shower, please. If not for you, for everybody else who's smelling.
Now, Shepard subscribes to the notion that one needs only focus on soles and holes, your feet and whatever holes you have. It's a common belief held by many that overbathing can reduce the body's natural oils. I believe in smelling good. I believe in smelling good
and being clean.
And my hero, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He wants the world to know, my twin and hero. If they ever did Twins, remember that movie Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Danny DeVito?
Yes,
I think they should do Twins Part 2 with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Brad Bernstein.
That'd be hilarious.
They want the world to know, he wants the world to know that his strict showering regimen, after a fan tweeted that Johnson can't possibly be one of those stinky stars, he quickly confirmed that she was correct and even shared details about his bathing habits. The 49-year-old actor responded Friday, "Nope, I'm the opposite of a not washing themselves celebrity. Shower cold when I roll out of bed to get my day rolling. Shower warm after my workout before work. Shower hot after I go home from work."
That actually kind of sounds like mine.
Mm-hmm. and with that, by the way, I shower twice a day.
Good job.
I shower in the morning. And I either, if I go out to dinner after the show, I will go home and shower quickly and then go out to dinner because I've been in my clothes all day.
Right.
And
you just want to feel fresh.
You feel fresh. And if I don't go out.
Carol Anderson the Tiger also showers twice a day.
I would expect the Tiger would do that. Because she's a Brad squatter. I would expect that. And if I don't go out to dinner, I'll shower late in the evening before I go to bed. And then I shower again in the morning when I wake up.
Here you go.
Yeah. That's my shower routine.
That was crazy.
In today's Braducation, I'm going to talk about lawful prospective immigrant status and what that could mean not only to getting a green card, but a pathway to citizenship for millions of people. It's back in the news now that we have a budget reconciliation with $107 billion. This is what Joe Biden's plan was back in January. Is it going to make it into the budget reconciliation? Lawful prospective immigrant status is a good possibility. Let's watch what it is again. My goal is straightforward: to make the law usable and easy to understand for everyone. All of us in the United States have equal rights and should have an equal opportunity and a right to justice. I'm here to help because I want everybody to achieve their American dream. I'm Brad Bernstein, and this is your Immigration Braducation. I'm not here to tell you what you want to know. I'm here to tell you what you need to know. U.S. immigration law is complex, and the regulations are constantly changing. My objective is to make the law easy for you to understand so that you can use the justice system, know your rights, take advantage of the law, and achieve your American dream. Now, the Pew Research Center estimates that approximately 11 million people living in the United States are out of status. And for the first time in 35 years, an amnesty bill that has a chance to pass has been presented to Congress by President Biden. Called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021, the immigration reform bill is 363 pages and offers 5 different amnesties and an overhaul to family and employment-based immigration. Now, keep in mind, this is not law yet and is subject to change and may not even be passed by Congress. But because the Democrats control the House of Representatives, the Senate, and the presidency, people are very excited about this. So let's get into the meat, the substance, the nitty-gritty of one very important section of the United States Citizenship Act of 2021 that will affect the lives of millions of people. Lawful prospective immigrant status. You're going to hear a lot about this. Now, before we get to the amnesty, let me give you a braducation within a braducation. There are 5 categories of immigration status that you can have in America. 1, you can be a United States citizen. 2, you can be a lawful permanent resident. That's somebody with a green card. 3, you can be a non-immigrant. That is someone who is lawfully in the United States with a visa that is temporary in nature, such as a visitor, student, or even somebody on a temporary work visa. 4, you can be in the United States under color of law, which is somebody who is neither a citizen, resident, or non-immigrant, but nevertheless is legal to be in America, such as someone with a pending asylum application, or a pending adjustment of status application, or recipient of deferred action for childhood arrivals known as DACA, or even somebody under temporary protected status known as TPS. Or 5, you can be undocumented because you came to the United States without inspection, or you were inspected as a non-immigrant and overstayed your allotted time on your visa, or you had a green card and were ordered deported and just never left. So now people who are residing in the United States under color of law, as well as those who are undocumented, will be eligible for this new immigration amnesty status that will affect millions of lives. Lawful prospective immigrant status will cover people who are physically in the United States and are undocumented or in the United States under color of law on January 1st, 2021, and pass a background check. Those individuals will receive employment authorization, immediate authorization to travel back and forth to their home country, a social security number, a driver's license, apply for health insurance, and have the ability to apply even for the Affordable Care Act. In fact, anyone with an application pending for lawful prospective immigrant status will not be subject to deportation. And if the status is granted, you still cannot get deported unless you commit a crime, and this status will be good for up to 6 years. Between years 5 and 6 in lawful prospective immigrant status, if you have remained in the United States for 180 days each of those 5 years and have no criminal record barring you, you can then make a new application to adjust your status to lawful resident status and become a green card holder. And once you have a green card, you can decide to keep it for life, or you could apply for U.S. citizenship 3 years after you adjust your status, and you can become a United States citizen. And of course, you can see all our Braducations by following us on Brad Show Live on OnlyFans, where I have my clothes fully on, but my brain is fully unclothed with all of my knowledge. Does that make any sense, Jonathan?
It does.
Somehow.
It does. Because we know. We understand.
Does that make sense, Vanessa? Vanessa's like, I have no idea.
You lay it all out.
I lay it all out, exactly. I bear it. There you go. You got it.
That's what we're here for.
All right, let's go to You Got a Question, I Got an Answer for you. All right, Sarah in Hollywood, Florida. How are you, Sarah?
Hi, Brett. This is Sarah. The reason I'm calling you, on 1986, I got the political asylum, and I got approval, and I'm right now citizen of United States.
Great.
At the time when I was getting the political asylum, my attorney mentioned if I put my brother and sister name in the application, they will get the residency in United States. But now years pass, I don't know how to go through my file to apply for my brother and sister.
You would have to, there's no including a brother or sister on an asylum application, unfortunately. So you would have to file as a United States citizen for your brother and sister now. But, unfortunately, it's about a 10 to 12 year wait. But I would still, if
Yeah,
you're
I can do it now.
By the way, if ever there was a time that you're going to file for your brother and sister and you're thinking about doing it, do it at this very moment. Because my concern is that if they do change the laws, maybe they're going to take green cards away from brothers and sisters. So, or perhaps they will speed up the processing of brothers and sisters before they do the amnesty for people here. I don't know what ultimately they're going to do. But
So you mean I apply it right now for
right
them,
now,
right?
I would do it right now before they change the law, for sure.
Okay, I have another question.
Yes.
This is regarding my friend. He has, Andre, he has the VAWA, and he did not get the approval letter, the C-31, and the attorney said he's going to send the email to the immigration. I was wondering, if he sent the email to the immigration, how long that's going to take? And this is they're going to answer how long that's going to take to get the approval letter.
Sending an email is going to do absolutely nothing. I have no idea when they'll get an approval letter. His VAWA was approved, but he didn't get his work permit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, they got the work permit, but it's just like they have to get the C-31.
C-31 means that you got a work permit through the approval of an I-360.
But they didn't get the approval letter yet.
But,
so
they have a work permit under C-31.
Yes.
Okay. They should just file an adjustment with their receipt notice.
Adjustment with the receipt notice
Yes,
right now.
Right now, this very second.
Okay, thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
I appreciate
Okay.
it. Bye-bye.
Let's go to Kane in Baltimore, Maryland. Kane. Kane, how are you? Kane.
Hello,
Hi, Kane,
sir.
how are you?
I'm good, and you?
Good. What's going on?
I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
Okay.
Yes, sir. My name is Ken Disu. I live in Baltimore.
Yes.
I came down here since March 2010,
Right.
and I was introduced. I was just walking on the streets 2010 one day, and I met a guy because I'm from Nigeria.
Right.
I met a guy from Nigeria, from my country, and we talked, and he asked me if I want to stay. I said I would love to stay, but I came with visiting visa. He said he got a lady that would work together with the state that she tried to look for somebody like somebody to marry.
Kane.
You want that?
Kane,
I said yeah.
Kane.
Yeah.
Stop. Shut up. Right now. Basically, I hear you going down the line of, I came here from Nigeria, I met a man on the street, and they were going to introduce me into a business marriage with a woman.
No, he introduced us to hook up together, not on business, for real.
Oh, for real? Okay.
Yes.
Then what?
So we started dating.
Okay. I
So
take it
we
back.
started dating. I was
Right.
sleeping with my friend.
Right.
And from there, we started, going out, seeing each other. So we eventually got married by October
Okay.
2010.
So you entered
and
into
I
a
moved-
relationship with this woman.
We got like 3 months relationship.
Okay.
And I moved down to her house because I couldn't afford to pay where I'm living. So I started living with her.
What is your question, by the way? Do you have a question in any of this?
Yeah, I have a question.
What is the question?
The question I have now was we put in I-130 and it was approved. So after the I-130 was approved, on the day of our interview for the changing of status, she refused to follow me.
Okay.
So she didn't follow me. So my lawyer put in wherever that she put in a paperwork that she was sick to the immigration. So they scheduled another interview appointment for us. She refused to come again. But before then, my lawyer told me, your wife might still not follow you just in case. I'm going to try to file I-1360 for you.
All right, so you're going to file an abuse case.
Yeah, for you, just in case you didn't show up.
I still haven't heard a question. You just tell me a long, long story. What is your question?
my question was that they finally called me for the I-485, and I did it by myself, and I was given a white paper. But recently, they sent me additional document for the I-360.
So this is from a marriage from 2010, and you still don't have it approved yet?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Kate, an I-360, you filed an abuse case, and there has to be extreme emotional abuse or physical abuse. All I heard was your wife didn't show up to an interview that you met for 3 months. So you're asking me how I can help you. What's the abuse?
The lawyer was introduced to a psychologist.
Psychological abuse? What was the psychological abuse?
I mean, normally she do force me to have sex with her.
She forced you to have
sex
sex
me
with her?
openly.
What?
Yeah.
What else?
So, and I discussed with this lawyer, and they put in the
So why is its case taking so long on a marriage from 2010? It's now 2021.
It's from another lawyer to another lawyer.
All right, I think you need a consultation. I got to go through what was filed. Hold on one second, okay?
Yeah.
All right, he needs like 45 minutes, right?
Yes.
Kane needs a long time. We don't have enough time for Kane today. He needs a consultation. Let's go to Khalid in Stoughton, Virginia. Khalid. All right, someone find Khalid. Let's go to Ron in Long Island. Ron.
Hi, Brad. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I have two questions. So my I-360 was approved for my VAWA case, and my work permit code changed from C9 to C31, I think, or some 31, and I haven't received an approval notice in the mail. How long do you think I should be scheduled for an interview or a medical exam?
Well, your medical exam, you just bring to the interview. They're not going to schedule you for the medical exam. Usually your interview will come about 9 to 10 months after your I-360 is approved. So once you got the work permit based on C31, that means your I-360 is approved. It's just delayed submitting it to you. So figure about 9 to 10 months from the time you got your work permit.
Okay, but and I filed both together. I filed in my I-360 and my I-485 in 2018.
I understand, because you told me you got a work permit first based on C9.
Okay, no. And my second question is, my friend got approved for asylum, and he wants to know that if he wants to get his green card, if he has to do a medical exam also.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Brad.
Bye-bye. Let's go to Leslie in Indianapolis, Indiana.
Yes.
Leslie,
hello?
How are you?
Yes. How are you doing, Brad?
Good.
Yeah, I got a question.
Yes.
So my 485 was approved, but they sent me my green card. But before I have a pending as asylum for like 2 years and a half. So I got my green card right now. So my pending asylum is automatically closed.
No,
or
just write them a letter saying, I got my green card, please withdraw my asylum.
Hello?
Write them a letter, please withdraw my asylum, I got my green card.
Okay.
All right.
Before I go back to my country.
Don't go back to your country, because then you're going to be stopped coming back into the United States. You lied on your asylum.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Let's go to Edward in San Francisco.
Oh, Brad, can you hear me?
I do. How are you?
Sure. I have a couple questions for you, and I'm pretty sure it will benefit a lot of the listeners. So yesterday, my friend went to an N400 interview at the San Francisco, California field office, and he did not bring his divorce certificate.
Okay.
Of course, he was applying under the 5-year rule.
Right.
And everything went well. He passed everything, but he got that paper saying, decision cannot be made, blah, blah, blah. When it was today, we update on the tracker, and it says a request for evidence was sent.
Uh-huh.
With my basic knowledge, I was like, I believe they're going to request the
divorce.
Of course.
Right?
Of of course.
Right.
But when he gets the divorce from Indiana, I look because he said the officer concentrated on his marriage. So he said it was an interview pretty much I believe she was trying to figure out if the marriage was real or not.
Right.
Okay. So his green card is from August of 2015.
Right.
He is an IR1.
Right.
He came to Mexico, went back to Brazil. He did it through there, and then he got back here.
And he re-entered with a 10-year card because he was married for more than 2 years.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right, So
But,
when did he get divorced?
Okay, that's the tricky part. He filed for the divorce here in 2017, right, with her.
Mm-hmm.
But then on his divorce, they put the date wrong because they say the divorce was filed on September 6, 2017, but it says that the parties were separated on or about February 24th, when he didn't even not have his green card.
Yeah,
So this
bad.
is wrong.
That's wrong.
That's bad. I told him.
You need to amend that because the divorce paper says they were not not living together when he got his green card.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
Yeah, that needs to be amended because that's a finding. In other words, in that divorce paper, that is a finding of fact by a judge that this man and this woman were not living together as of 2014 when he got his green card in 2015. USCIS is going to use that against him.
Yeah. So here's the question. It might take. It's in Indiana. It's in like a small town.
He needs to hire a lawyer in Indiana, and if it means withdrawing the citizenship and refiling it when the divorce is correct, then that's what he should do.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. When they normally send the RFE, how long does he have to?
It's usually 90 days.
Usually 9, and I'm pretty sure he will not be able to fix it timely, right?
Maybe, you never know. Try.
Yeah, it's a small town.
Yeah,
okay. Well, I'll tell him about.
Right.
Now, my second question for you is this: when somebody who married to a Cuban person is filing a VAWA on the I-485, it gives you two categories: through family, I-360 VAWA, or there's an option down there, but you can only mark one. It says under CAA, abuse the spouse. Which one should you pick?
He's an abused spouse.
So then the CAA doesn't matter at that point, right?
Or you can just pick other VAWA. There's a section that says other VAWA.
Yeah, there's a section where it says VAWA, and down there, like on in special something, it says CAA, abused spouse or children.
You're an abused spouse or child. That's what you are if you're a VAWA case. Or there's other section that says other VAWA. You can just check that too. That makes you feel more comfortable. Either one.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay. And what about when you have a work permit with parole? If that card is still valid until the end of the year, and you just get the receipt for the new adjustment next month, let's say, can you travel with that new receipt but with the old card parole?
You would need to get a new parole. That parole is based on an old adjustment application.
So it's not valid anymore?
No.
Gotcha. Okay, Uncle Brad. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. Let's go to Mary in Palm Beach, Florida.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Brad, I have a few questions.
Yes.
I'm calling from Florida. My brother, who is in New York, filed for the green card. They've been married for 7 years, and he was staying in France. But when he married, when they were doing the papers, and he was coming here before, he was staying with a lady in France after he got married. But when he was filling the papers to come to the U.S., they have only two options. It says married or single. But in France, they have something that says living together. So since he was not married to the lady, he picked up the married one.
Okay.
Instead of the staying together.
I understand that.
Yes. So when he had an interview last
They
year.
said he made a misrepresentation. He said when he was single, he was married.
Yes.
And now the reason for that is because it's more likely to get a visa if he was applying for a visa if you're married than if you're single.
Right.
So they look at it as a misrepresentation. He looks at it as, I didn't knowingly do anything wrong. So he has to make an argument. It's only a misrepresentation if you knowingly do something wrong. So he has to make an argument, just like you told me, he didn't knowingly do something wrong. He believed he was married. He was living with this woman.
Yes.
Now, either they'll believe him or not. If they believe him, great. He doesn't need a waiver. If they don't believe him, then he needs a waiver. That's how it works.
Okay. He has a paper that says that he was not married because the immigration sent him that he was married to the lady. So the paper that he received, the lawyer...
So you would need to get a letter from France saying there's no record of a marriage, just so you can show that your marriage in America is a legal civil marriage. You're not married to two women at the same time. But now the issue becomes, okay, did he knowingly lie? He has to argue he didn't. And if they believe him, great. And if not, then he needs a waiver.
Oh, okay.
But if he's in New York, we can help him. He just has to call us.
You can help him?
Yep.
Okay, so in the paper, the letter that they wrote to, they put a tend to refuse. Is that in a way that do you think they can refuse? Because since last year,
again, I'm going to repeat it for a third time. He got a notice of intent to deny. He has to argue he didn't knowingly make a misrepresentation, and then if they don't believe him, file a waiver. So hold on one second.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So that's what happened.
Yes.
So
hold on. Okay, let's go to Marilyn in Castries, St. Lucia. Marilyn.
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm calling from St. Lucia.
How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes, I do. Castries, St. Lucia. I was there.
Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, yes, there. Wonderful.
Yes.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes. I was in the U.S. in 2019 with my spouse, not married, but we have a child together.
Okay.
And I went to the doctor, and I ended up doing treatment. Now, because it was not available in my country, we ended up staying for more than the 6 months.
Okay.
Filed for extension. I went on to stay until 2020.
So how long were you in the U.S. in total?
A year and 3 months.
Okay. Did you get the
but I had my son.
Did you get the extension approved?
Yes, it got approved in December.
Okay, so you basically.
But I was out already.
You have an overstay of about 3 months, I think, right, or no?
Oh no, but I was already out. I left in July 2020 after biometrics.
Right, you came for 6 months. Let me just retranslate for you so I understand. You came for 6 months. You had some medical issue. You asked for an extension. When you asked for an extension, they gave you an extra 6 months. You stayed actually a year and 3 months while that extension was happening. You never got a decision. You left after a year and 3 months. After you left, you got a decision extending your stay, but not for the whole year and 3 months, just probably for a year.
Yes, the extension was not done at the 6 month interval.
Right.
I did it after the first 6 months. It was already into the year 2020, and the lawyer explained to them that
you filed nunc pro tunc, meaning even though I'm late, I have a good excuse.
Extensions one time.
Right. Okay. So what was the end result? What happened?
Oh, it was approved. I did the biometrics in July of 2020. My son, and we wrote to them to say that we were leaving, because I had to get back to my work and everything. We came down, and I had not come back up.
We lost you, Marilyn.
And so his visa, my son's visa, expired, and I applied to renew it. Then they sent me a 221 form, and they asked me to come to the embassy. I traveled over to Barbados, and they said to me, they're going to keep it for administrative processing. Finally, they said refused. I'm just wondering, I me to come back up for my treatment. I'm wondering, is that something I can appeal? They said it cannot be appealed, but I'm wondering, is there something I can do?
It's not an appeal. You got to go back and refile again, show that you need this medical treatment. This medical treatment's not available in St. Lucia, and show this heartless person in Barbados that you really need medical treatment and you intend to leave. You left last time. You have a job in St. Lucia. So it's not reappeal again, it's reapply again with better information.
Yes, but I sent my house paper, I sent my job, I sent everything for them.
It's the fact that you stayed for so long. They think that you're going to stay again. You have to show
I understand.
The emergent reason. You have an emergent reason, which is this medical treatment that you can't get in St. Lucia. That's what's missing in this package of what you submitted to them.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, when I apply, how soon can I apply again?
We'll help you. Hold on one second, okay? Because you have an emergent reason. You need this medical treatment, I assume, and you can't get it in St. Lucia. So hold on. And the answer is apply immediately. Hold on. Let's go to Bina in San Francisco. Bina.
Hey, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, good. I have a quick question. Actually, I petitioned my husband, and he already got a 10 years green card. Right after getting his green card, he just left. He just filed for the divorce. And we are in the divorce process. And while we are in the divorce process, I just found out that he made misrepresentations in his all immigration process. He hired his first daughter from me, also in the immigration process. So do you really think if someone can report it to the USCIS, it's going to be...
You can report it to USCIS. It probably would not be acted on unless he applies for his citizenship. It could be it could be an issue for him becoming a citizen.
I see. And do you really think the annulment makes any trouble for him, because it's totally the fraudulent marriage he was involved?
I think an annulment would cause him trouble because the basis of him getting a green card, there was no marriage. There was no marriage for the basis of him getting a green card.
And one more last question. We have a daughter together, and she was born.
If you have a child together, you're not going to get an annulment. There's no judge.
Really?
Yeah, no. There's no
not
judge.
even if the fraud is involved.
No, because there's no fraud. You have a child together, and there's no judge. There's no judge who's going to say, "Sorry, this marriage never happened," and make a child not legitimate.
One more last question, Bert, that if I can complain to the USCIS regarding this issue, like he made a representation with me at the time of the marriage, after even the life we lived together. Did they really, take it serious?
The USCIS is going to do nothing to this man. You have a child together. Quite frankly, I know you're very upset.
Yep.
But you can certainly write and said he hid a child from USCIS and it may affect him on his citizenship interview. But I assume you would want the father of your child around to help raise this child, even if you're upset at him at the moment.
He don't have to do anything with the child. He already left the child with me, and he's ready to give the custody as well. So he just has to come to the USA.
That's your prerogative. But the answer, you're not going to get an annulment. Yes, you can write immigration. It could affect the citizenship. That's my answer.
All right. Thank you, Greg. Thank you. Welcome. Have a good day.
Okay. Let's go to David in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. David.
Yes. Hello. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I came into the country with a K-1 visa.
Right.
2010, and I got my green card 2012.
Great.
And I did file for citizenship 2013.
Right.
Then we had some misunderstanding, and I was charged with domestic violence. And she filed for a restraining order, and the judge or the DA said, no, there's no evidence that there was no wound and everything. So I knew I wasn't going back there. And my attorney told me to withdraw my citizenship, which I did. Then 2015, I did file for another one. But the excuse they gave me was that.
Do you have a conviction for domestic violence? I don't
No,
understand.
no. The case was dismissed.
Okay, if the case was dismissed 5 years from the, you can file for your citizenship now, but certainly 5
Yeah,
years
I
after
already
it's
filed
dismissed.
again.
Yeah,
I
so what's
did
the problem?
filed 2015, and they were making me understand that there was a misrepresentation on my end because the date that I claimed to live there was 3 months difference. That I lived with her from January to June. We lived at a certain residence, and on the application there was a 3 months difference. That was the excuse.
I don't see that as a
USCIS
reason to
gave.
deny your citizenship. It was a real marriage. There was police involved. There was domestic violence perhaps involved, or alleged domestic violence. There's proof that it's a real marriage. You know, I don't see that as a reason. So you're still not a citizen to this day?
No, I did file now. They're telling bar since 2 years
Do you have
ago.
a question for me?
Yeah, the question is, how long does the background take? Because they've been telling me for the past 2 years that they're still.
Have you gone for an interview?
They scheduled me for an interview 2 years ago, and during the COVID time, and they scheduled the interview.
Did you go on the interview?
No, they scheduled the interview.
All right, so it sounds like to me that you need a mandamus at this point to force the government to do their job.
Okay.
Hold on one second.
Thank you.
All right. Let's go to Cece in New York. Cece.
Hi, good evening, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so I sent you an Instagram message earlier, I think yesterday actually.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an international student. I'm currently a graduate. I can't hear you.
I didn't say anything. I'm listening to you.
Yeah, so I said I'm an international student. I'm currently a graduate student.
Right.
So I did adjustment of status. I did adjustment of status through marriage,
Yes.
and now I got a job offer. So I'm trying to get a work permit from the school, which is a CPT. But the school is not.
You don't do a work permit through the CPT. You get a work now that you filed an adjustment. You're no longer on a student visa. You have to wait on the work permit through the adjustment.
Yeah, but my student status is.
It doesn't matter.
it's
You're no longer on a student. Once you file an adjustment application, you're not on student visa status anymore. Student visa is a non-immigrant visa. I'm here on a temporary basis for school, and I'm going home. You have filed an adjustment application to obtain your green card. You're no longer on a student visa. You don't get a work permit through your student visa. You don't get OPT. You don't get CPT. Nothing. You got to wait on the work permit through the adjustment.
Oh, okay. So I did my biometric already. So how long do you think?
I don't know. Hopefully soon.
Oh, okay.
All right. Good luck. But just you're not getting it through the school. But when you're going to get your work permit through your adjustment, I have no idea. Hopefully
all
soon
right.
is my answer.
All right. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Appreciate
Okay.
it.
Let's go to Delphine in Gathersburg, Maryland.
Hi, Brad.
Gaithersburg, excuse me. Delphine, how are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. I have some questions for you. I think it's going to be two. Withholding status here in America, and then I get married 3 times already. So, but I only filed 1 time. And then when I filed, we went for interview, and then till when we went for interview, they never said anything. They said they were still working on it. But actually, my lawyer told me because of the age gap, he think it was not possible for me to get the green card. And then we get divorced with my ex-husband. So what I want to do is, can I get married again? Because right now I have...
The answer is yes, you can fall in love, fall out of love, and fall in love again. My other answer is age gap doesn't matter. If it's a real marriage, it's a real marriage. So
we get
divorced. All right, so
yeah.
You moved on. All right, yes, you can get remarried again.
Okay, so how long I have to file if I get married again? Because I get divorced in 2019. So now, you want me?
As long as you're in a real marriage, that you live with the man, and you have a financial relationship with him, you can get married today. You can file tomorrow.
But why my lawyer here? He always want me to wait.
I don't know
for-
why your lawyer's giving you bad advice.
I know why. Sometimes I'm like, he wants me to have all those taxes paper, all those things, and then file. I'm like, this is too much time.
All right. So.
And then the
switch
second
lawyers.
question is.
Yeah.
I know. The second question is, do you think withholding statutes is going to be part of the pathway of citizen, or do you think I should?
Do I think what's going to be pathway for citizens?
Withholding statutes, because my statute right now is withholding. I only get working permit.
You have withholding of removal right now.
Yes. Yes,
okay.
yes.
So you would need to reopen your removal case in order to be able to get a green card. Will it be part of this? Of this new amnesty? I have no idea.
So what can I do to open my removal? What can I do, please?
You need to get married to a U.S. citizen, file an I-130 visa petition, prove it's a bona fide marriage, get the I-130 approved, and then make a joint motion with the trial attorneys and say, for humanitarian purposes, I'm married to this U.S. citizen. I should get my case reopened and get a green card. It serves no purpose for me to be in withholding when the government's not going to deport me and I'm eligible for a green card based on this marriage and this approved I-130 visa petition.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Brad. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Let's go to Jules in Atlanta. Jules.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Brad.
Hi,
Can you
how are
hear me?
Yes, I do.
Yes, so a green card, 10-year green card. I came to the country 5 years ago. I won the DV lottery, and I turned 5 years in April. And so I filed for my N400 in July. Right. But sometime in 2020, I had a shoplifting charge that has not been called yet.
Okay.
I realized that I shouldn't have filed yet. So, but I got a lawyer.
The answer is if, they're not going to make a decision on your citizenship while you have a pending criminal case, you might as well go through the citizenship case. If this shoplifting case ultimately gets dismissed, you're found not guilty, you should still become a citizen. If you're found guilty of something, maybe you won't become a citizen, depends on what you're found guilty of.
So I have a lawyer already who is, we're just waiting for the case to be called. But then I have my biometric next week. I don't know if I should just.
Well, if you're scared, then just don't go to the biometric. Withdraw your citizenship, and refile it after you resolve this criminal case.
So can I do that? Can I cancel? Can I cancel the application?
Yes, you can.
Okay. All right. I can speak to the lawyer and then settle that, and then before filing again. Okay.
Okay.
Do I need to go to the biometrics or just cancel before going to the biometrics?
Just cancel. Don't go to the biometrics and write a letter saying, please withdraw my... You don't even have to speak to a lawyer. You're going to write a one-sentence letter. Here's my case number. Here's my alien registration number. That's more than one sentence, but it's very short. Here's my case number. Here's my alien registration number. Please withdraw my naturalization. You don't even have to give an excuse. Period. Okay. You send it off to USCIS. Send it to the same address that sent you your receipt notice for the N400. And then don't show up to the biometrics, and your case will be withdrawn. It's the end of it. No one's going to ask any questions, and you'll see what happens on the shoplifting offense.
Okay, so I can just go ahead and try to clear out this case before applying again.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Victor in Newcastle, Delaware. Victor.
Hello, bro.
How you doing?
I'm all right. How you doing today?
Good. What's going on?
Bro, please, I got a question.
What?
Yeah, what's the latest about this Biden citizenship stuff?
What about the Biden citizenship stuff is your question?
Yeah, what's the latest?
I talked about it about an hour ago. Just you can go, if you're watching on YouTube, just go backwards to about 15 minutes into the show. I talk all about it.
Okay.
All right.
Is it visible, please? Is it visible?
Is it what?
Is it visible?
Is it possible?
Yeah.
The answer is yes. Go back to 15-minute mark and watch what I said. Hold on.
Okay, sorry, brother. I got another question, please.
What's your second question?
Yeah, my mother is in the U.S. now. She came in like a year ago, but she has outstayed her visa. Is it possible for me to fight for her?
You're a U.S. citizen?
Yeah, I got it. Yeah.
And
I got my green card.
No, you have to be a citizen to file for your mother.
Okay. So when she goes back now, she got to stay for 3 years when she come back?
Who says that? Why don't you? When did you get your green card?
I got it 3 years ago.
Okay. She can travel, once a year or whatever, but she would overstay her time if she just stayed here waiting for you to become a citizen. You got 2 more years to go.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So you got to go back. Then when I come back, I can file for her?
If you'd like to. Let's see what happens. Let's see what the laws are in 2 years from now.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, brother. God bless you.
Thank you. Sue in Fort Lauderdale. Sue in Fort Lauderdale.
Hello?
Hello.
Good evening, Brad. I really need to speak with you, but I want to speak with you personally.
Yes.
Understand that you are not available, but I would want to have a consultation, but with you personally. I did a consultation with one of your colleagues. I wasn't so satisfied.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right, so you can have another
one. Yes, I want to have one with you personally, a one-on-one.
Okay, so what is your question for today? You calling me to make?
No, I don't want to ask you a question. I don't want to ask you a question on the live.
So I don't know why you're even on the show. Just make
no, because I told the person I wanted to speak with you directly, but apparently because the calls are coming in, she didn't want to really.
Hold on 1 second. Just make an appointment. Stop your complaining. All right, and I'll see you. All right, let's go. What's next? That's ridiculous. All right. If you didn't get your immigration question asked and answered, unfortunately, the last question was just somebody complaining. You can follow me on Instagram at @RealBradBernstein. You can also follow us at Bradshaw Live. You follow us at Bradshaw Live. You can't handle 2 hours of this show. And sometimes I can't either, but you can watch 2 minutes of Bradshaw Live on Instagram at Jonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
You guys can follow me at Jonathan Elias TV on Instagram.
And you guys can find me at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
All right. And later in the show, we're going to hear from the second part of my discussion with Jason Rochester, Cecilia Gonzalez, and their son Ashton. Cecilia self-deported to Mexico in 2018, not realizing this would bar her from re-entering the United States. The couple is now fighting to come back to America. They are working with American Families United, which works to keep United States citizens and their undocumented spouses together. And they currently have a bill before Congress.
And now in today's Attorney Close-Up, Spar and Bernstein partner in personal injury, attorney David Levy explains why construction work is so dangerous.
Construction jobs and construction work is one of the most dangerous types of jobs that exists in New York City. And the Federal Bureau of Labor Statistics has actually confirmed that fact by stating that 27% of all work-related deaths that occur in New York City occur on construction sites by construction employees, despite only 5% of the workforce being construction employees in New York City. So some ask, why is construction so dangerous? And there's a few answers for that. I'd say answer number one is this is New York City. This is the city that never sleeps, and time is money. And we have a lot of owners, a lot of developers, and a lot of investors, construction managers who try to finish jobs as soon as possible, and they sometimes unfortunately cut corners, as we saw in Miami with that condo, all in an effort to make money. The faster a job finishes, the faster they can move on, the faster that they get paid. And unfortunately, we have a lot of individuals who are working and they are exposed to risks that they shouldn't be as a result of that. No matter how many regulations and safety procedures that you try to incorporate or instill, construction is, by its very nature, a dangerous job. You have workers working at elevation, using scaffolds, ladders, using cranes, using excavators, using other dangerous equipment like saws and grinders. We have individuals who are operating dangerous and heavy machinery, working on rooftops. So regulations are important, and they're important to minimize whatever accidents or risks that are inherent. However, we are dealing with an inherently dangerous activity, which is known as construction work. There will always be the landlord, the owner, the developer who thinks they're above the law and tries to cut corners and puts your safety in jeopardy. Whenever these violations occur, or whenever an accident occurs on a construction site, do not hesitate, do not wait. Immediately, as soon as practicable, call us. We'll give you the information, we'll let you know your rights, and we'll listen to your case for a free consultation. We're here to help. We have helped hundreds and thousands of people, and we're ready, willing, and able to help you as well.
All right, let's do something we like to call social media check-in.
All right, our first one comes from Tico, Brad Squad VIP member, saying, my friend and his wife applied for asylum in 2016. He is an applicant. They got divorced in 2019. If the man is called for an interview, will his ex-wife get deported or stay just without status?
The ex-wife can file her own asylum application. If she's from the same country as the husband, they will usually approve her asylum as well, as long as the husband got through.
Olucianza Shiste Famisa, another Brad Squad VIP member. My cousin died in January of 2021. He had a pending I-130 for his wife, and the wife lives outside of the United States. Can the family members continue with the petition?
Well, no. The wife can file as a widow petition and complete the case.
All right, number 3, Prince Dandy, Brad Squad VIP member. My mom is a green card holder. Can she file for me now? She currently resides in Canada. My mom is a U.S. green card holder, and she has a pending asylum case in Canada. She wants to return back to the U.S. after overstaying for 4 years. What are the chances?
When did she overstay her time?
Just as she overstayed for 4 years.
Okay, it depends when she overstayed her time, because if she's been out of the United States for less than 10 years, she has a 10-year bar still. So I'm not sure when she left the United States. So we need to know more information.
Rita Brada Saha, another Brad Squad VIP member. My wife is petitioning me for a green card. All our paperwork has been done and submitted to USCIS. Can she now change her last name to my last name? If so, how do we notify USCIS about the name change?
You don't have to notify USCIS about a name change. She just changes her name by changing her name on the Social Security card. You can write a letter to USCIS saying, change my work permit. But why would you want to change the name on the work permit? Because then you got to give the work permit back, get a new one. The best thing to do is do nothing, and at the time of the interview, request that the green card be issued in her married name. The officer can change it at the time of the interview, and when she gets her green card in her married name, guess what? Her name is changed. Because other than that, if you start doing that beforehand, then you got to return the work permit, you got to return the travel document, you got to apply for new ones, and then you had nothing. So you're better off, if the name's coming in the maiden name, just keep it until the interview.
Crystal Perry Bino, Brad Squad VIP member. Can I change a B1, B2 visa to a green card while my F3 application is at NVC? And can I stay in the U.S. on the visa?
If you're in status and the priority date's current, you can file an adjustment.
Nolak Callan on Facebook. I lost my green card, but I have a criminal record. Can I still replace it?
Depends what the criminal record's for.
Naked Wire on Facebook. I started my citizenship in April 2020 and have waited until now. What should I do?
You can thread a mandamus or a de novo review.
Nikki Tria on Facebook. I got my permanent residence through VAWA. I want to apply for my 15-year-old son in Trinidad. Do I need an affidavit of support?
No.
Shaibu Basti on Facebook. My wife is an American citizen and filed for me. I was documentarily. I can't ever say that.
Documentarily.
There we go.
There is no such word. There's no such word, really.
We get that all the time.
I know.
And I could never
documentarily. I mean, there's no such word as that. They made the word document into a verb.
There you go. So document into a verb,
yes.
Documentarily, qualified on October 20th. So let me read that one more time. So my wife is an American citizen and filed for me. I was documentarily qualified on October 20th.
I was qualified on my documents, I think.
There you go.
The right way to say it.
October 20th, 2020. Yes. I applied to study at Roosevelt University and have my admission now, but I've been advised not to go that route because it can complicate my IV.
Complicate.
I said compliment?
Yeah.
Yes, complicate my IV. We have a 2-year-old daughter. How can I get my case expedited, or any guess when I'll get my interview appointment?
He's getting sponsored by the wife.
Yes.
So what's the problem about complicating it? Going to medical school?
Yeah, applying to study for Roosevelt and have the admission now. But they've been advised not to go that route.
You could apply for college, just don't get an I-20 to apply for a student visa, because you're not going to get a student visa now that you've applied and showed an intent to get a green card. But certainly you could apply to a college and get accepted, and when you get your green card, go.
So can they expedite the case?
No, not based on that.
And last one comes from Elaine McBean Johnson on Facebook. I have a friend whose green card expired 5 years ago and she is out of the country. Will she be able to return to the U.S.?
Well, she's abandoned her permanent residence, so she would need to apply for an SB1 visa to show that she didn't intend to abandon her permanent residence, that she still has ties to the United States, such as property, family, or some other ties to show that she really didn't intend to abandon her residence. Now, yesterday I had spoken with Jason Rochester, Cecilia Gonzalez, and their son Ashton about how they've been coping since Cecilia self-deported to Mexico to come back to the United States with inspection in 2018, not realizing she would face a 10-year bar to re-entry. A few months after Cecilia left for Mexico, Ashton was diagnosed with cancer and had to go through treatment without his mom by his side. Luckily, Ashton is now healthy, but Cecilia is still in Mexico. Today we're going to hear about the work the couple is doing with the help of the organization called American Families United to try to reunite Cecilia and other deported spouses of United States citizens back with their loved ones. We first met Cecilia Gonzalez and Jason Rochester in 2019 when I spoke to them about Cecilia's self-deportation. Cecilia and Jason have been married for 14 years and have an 8-year-old son, Ashton, together. But for the last 3 years, they've been raising their child from opposite sides of the United States-Mexico border after Cecilia left for Mexico in 2018 when Donald Trump was president, not realizing this meant a permanent 10-year bar for re-entry into the United States of America. They are now working with the group American Families United, which recently introduced a bill into Congress that would review family separations based on deportation and inadmissibility on a case-by-case basis. With me now, together in Mexico, to update us on their situation and to discuss the bill are Cecilia and Jason and Ashton. Welcome. How you guys holding up?
Good.
When did you first get involved with American Families United?
Or when we did our first national interview with LA Times, the journalist, the story actually found American Families United, and she said, "Have you heard of this group?" And I contacted them, and a lot of my contributions are with media because I've had a lot of stories with like LA Times and stuff like that. And every time we have a story, it's something that pushes the American Families United as well.
Now, what's going on with the American Families United Act?
American Families United Act, HR 2920. It will help families stay together that are in the United States, that are American citizens, that are married to undocumented immigrants. And it will help the undocumented immigrant that's married to a citizen that's been deported to be able to be reunited with their families in America. If we can get senators to get on board ahead of time and decide that they want to sponsor it, the more co-sponsors that we can get on either side, Republican and Democrat, the better.
There's a lot of people, just like your wife, who are not eligible for waivers, either because of immigration violations, what your wife committed, or because they did something bad and have a criminal conviction decades ago.
Yeah.
And for 10, 20, 30 years have been good, decent people with families and paid a price 20 years ago and maybe went to jail. And now is being punished a second time for life because of something they did a long time ago. And what the American Families United Act does is say, instead of piling everybody into one group and say permanent bar, permanent deportation, automatic deportation, automatic inadmissibility, you can't even apply for a waiver. You can never live with your family again, ever. Let's take a look at this on a case-by-case basis and determine if separating this family is a fair, justified separation, or separating this family, like in your case, is extraordinarily unjustified and an injustice to everything we stand for here in the United States of America. Family, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Can't pursue happiness. You have no liberty to live with the woman you love. You have a loving family, a child going through cancer care. It's an injustice. There are families out there that are going to remain separated. And whatever this person did that gets them deported or doesn't allow them to re-enter the United States, there's a justification for it. And sometimes when people do bad things, other people suffer. But a lot of times the bad things that the law says is bad is not so bad or happened so long ago that how could we even consider it today? The American Families United Act puts fairness back into the law. Do you know how many Republicans and Democrats are supporting this bill right now?
It was introduced on April 30th this year. It's bipartisan. It was introduced by Veronica Escobar. She was the champion of the bill, and then co-sponsored by David Vallejo. He's a Republican out of California.
By getting your story out there as much as you can, you are doing the best thing possible to try to get this approved. And I'll tell you why. Because if you do a poll of Americans, do you think people who get deported should be able to return to the United States? And that was your poll. Most would say no. If you got deported, why would you come back to the United States? If you say American voter, do you think that a woman who never committed a crime, who is married to a U.S. citizen, who for 15 years and has a child who is a cancer survivor and is being separated from their spouse, do you think that this couple deserves to live together in America? Everybody would say yes. So it's about really painting a picture rather than just a one sentence, if you got deported, you don't come back. Okay, because there's a lot of layers to immigration, and it's very easy for somebody to say, kick them out or keep them out. But when you start peeling away all of the layers of immigration, that's when people say, that's not fair.
Yeah, which I've had that personally. A lot of people that I have met and I've told our story, and they would be like hardcore, we don't want them here and stuff like that. And it's like, well, you know me, you know my wife, you know our situation. It's like, well, that's just not right. Obviously, it's like that for a lot of people. It's not just me. But it's not ultimately about her. It's about us. It's really about him. That's why I try to tell Ashton all the time, people don't want to see me. They want to see him because he's the one that's really being affected in the story.
How do people who are watching now help support this bill and get this passed this year?
If everyone's willing to contact their representatives, it's easy. Just go on AmericanFamiliesUnited.org/champions. Fill out your email and your address, and it'll put you who your representatives are.
Now, you're in touch with Alejandra Juarez, who also appeared on our show. Alejandra was deported in 2018. She recently was allowed back in the U.S. under the Biden administration. Her deportation was even showcased during the National Democratic Convention. Now, has her case had any effect on Cecilia's?
We have been talking to her about how she did what she did. We were texting her the other day, and we stay in communication, trying to get advice from her. What are key elements to the case? Because obviously those are important.
What are your American dreams?
Obviously, to have my family back together and be able to live a normal life, continue to work at a job that I've been at for almost 21 years. I'd like to be able to retire there and not have to think about, if I want to be with my family, I have to separate myself from a job that provides good money, benefits, pension, all the things that people work so hard for. So it's my job, my country, or my wife and my family. So if I can have all those in one box, that would be my American dream.
Do you think your country let you down?
Oh, yes, definitely. I think they can fix it, but I think they definitely dropped the ball.
Cecilia, what's your dreams?
My dream is to go back to America and have a normal life, because this is not normal for us, and take her then and be able to go with Ashton to his appointments, because we still have more years. And just take it to school like a It's my dream, also my biggest dream since he was starting kindergarten. So I'm missing a lot of those times.
Birthdays, Christmas.
Holidays, anniversaries.
Ashton, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
What are your dreams for the future? What would you like to see happen?
Everything.
Everything?
Broad brush.
All right. Cecilia Gonzalez, Jason Rochester, Ashton Rochester, thank you very much for coming on. I hope and pray it works out very soon for you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, it's speed round time.
It is.
I'm going to answer 9 immigration questions. 50 seconds. Start to get a little crazy for us. We got, maybe I'm getting too cocky. But I think we got to make it a little harder.
It's a second day back. Let's do a whole week. We've only done that like once.
Vanessa said she's going to ask the questions in Spanish. I'm like, no, that's too hard.
I was about to say, woo.
Right, no.
Let's see how that does for TikTok.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be like blowing up every day. All right.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Can I file for VAWA before my divorce is finalized?
Yes.
Can someone out of status in the U.S. still apply for the DV lottery?
Yes, but they may not get the green card at the end.
Can a citizen file for a child over 35?
Of course.
Can I travel to the U.S. with approved VAWA and a valid B1, B2 visa?
Maybe, but they may think you have an immigrant intent.
Do I need an immigration stamp for the I-751 18 months extension?
If after the 18-month extension you do, yes.
Can someone without a job apply for citizenship?
Yes.
Can I apply for citizenship after 7 years of my 10-year green card?
Of course.
What is one way a Mexican can apply for a green card?
Job sponsorship.
How early can I ask for a J1 2-year home requirement?
Immediately. I'm even giving explanations throughout, right?
Right.
You thought I was going to like, that's too long, too many sentences. No, I'm telling you, man. We gotta make this a little harder.
2 seconds to spare.
But I knew I had it. I'm getting a little too cocky, maybe.
A little.
Well, I was thinking to myself, maybe I was too cocky today. I was gonna blow up. Because,
No. We were gonna let that happen.
All right.
You boys had me nervous.
By the way, how does a Mexican apply for a green card? Like anybody else?
Just one way. It's just said once one way.
Yeah, I just said job sponsorship, but I mean, I'm like.
That was the one I was like, ooh, you better just give one.
Just one, yeah. All right, comments of the day.
All right, our first comment of the day. Carol Anderson, the Tiger, saying, we all should be united as one in this world we live in. We need to show the love all the time.
Yes, Carol, I agree with that.
Okay. Another VIP, Don Harriet, saying, schmoozing is my absolute favorite part of the show.
Oh, wow. I like schmoozing too. I like all parts of the show.
Same.
Yeah, I do, but I'm glad that you like that. Thank you.
Yeah, and our third comment of the day, I saw this in real time. Yes. I actually loved this in real time. Jessica Leamy, Joelle Reed saying, no tea for me today. I'm sipping 19 Crimes, Cali Red. That is wine and some good wine.
You know what? We gotta have like Wino Thursday, baby.
I'm so down for that, but I'm not drinking for the month of August.
Oh, why?
Just because
cleansing.
Cleansing. I needed it.
Okay. We'll see how long that lasts. So we'll see if you make it through the month. Right? What do you think the odds he makes it? What do you think the odds he makes it through the month?
I'm gonna do it.
50-50 at best.
No, listen. I have a big barbecue coming up at my crib on Saturday, and I'm gonna be the only sober one.
We'll see about that. We'll see about that.
We'll see you on Fuzzy Monday.
Yes.
And our last comment of the day. Melanie Abiola Aline saying, squad up, y'all. I am here, better late than never. Can't afford to miss the best immigration show on earth.
Aw, thank you very much. All right, so tomorrow is Hump Day. I'm sure Naked Wire will be watching.
I'm sure.
I'm sure other people will be watching too. We'll see you then.
Not my mother.
So Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.